easy butterfly pose. Bring the soles of the feet together and in to where is comfortable. And exhale, getting into position. Rock yourself into place. But then you will inhale into the pose, pressing the knees down, chest forward, lifting the spine up, looking up. And exhale to soften. Repeat. The spine straightens and the hips release some. You can press and round forward more and more with that. The idea is to have a straighter spine, maintain the integrity of your spine, and allow the hips to soften as you progress through that pose. You can also try that one in diamond and do that in varying degrees in the knees, so no worries, even if you have to start out further and then work your way back, whatever that is. Butterfly pose, yogi stretch. This is going to be of the legs. It's actually kind of an active pose where you can take on whatever breathing you feel is comfortable until you find something you can time with it. So, sitting up in staff pose, putting your sit bones, and coming to support yourself however is best, hands facing forward or to the back. Leaning in to support your spine a little bit. We're going to inhale, well, I'm going to inhale my knees up, exhale, pressing them out to the side and out. And keep repeating that over and over. 3, 7, 21 times. I'll go with 7. So, as you like. So, the other way then would be to take the knees out to the side, around, and go through. So, exhaling, straightening. So I'm inhaling to the side, up, and straightening the spine, pushing in as I go, straightening out the lower legs. Nice cleansing breath there at the end, and you'll notice that if you're not used to that movement, that the lower abs and back will start to feel it, maybe the inner thighs, front of the thighs, but everybody's a little bit different, so good luck. Half butterfly. So we got 2 placements of this straight leg. So depending on your flexibility here with the bent leg, we're going to bring it in as far as we can, and if we have the ability to bring it up and over the left hip, this is my right hip that's bent, my right knee. I'm going to face the left leg, and with an inhale, pressing into the thighs, straightening the spine, looking up. Also holding, exhale, soften, also holding onto the foot, of course, for stability, pressing into both. Left leg is more active. And pressing up into the chest, rolling the shoulders back, shoulder blades together. So, 1 and 2, tucking the left leg underneath if you have that available to you. If you do, but this leg has to come down, whatever. But the same motion applies, so to press down on the foot and on the thigh. So we inhale into the pose, exhale, soften. Coming on out, cleansing breath in transition. Right leg straight, left leg's bent, coming in, finding our way to an active right leg facing that leg, holding the top foot and pressing the knee, inhaling in, you can notice the difference between the two hips. Through those three presses, moved my hand up the thigh. I think it's as easy to the side. These hips are definitely a little different. So, finding our way. Of course, if you have any supportive blocks or anything that could help you sit more comfortably in your spine to make these happen, again, foot can be on the floor. Anything to make it happen, worth a try. So, inhaling in. Making our way up, shake it all out. Butterfly, pressing the knees down. Bringing in to your comfort level, soles of the feet together. We're going to be placing the hands on the thighs to whatever feels right. With this, we're going to take a double inhale, pressing down each time we take that inhale. When we exhale, we soften back to start, loosen up, and then the next repetition, inhaling into it again, pressing and inhaling twice on the thighs. So, inhaling in, pressing down, double inhale with another press and softening. I like to move my hands up the thighs. We're going to do this 3 times. See what it's like. First, trying to straighten the spine, straightening the arms, trying to get the shoulders down away from the ears. I'm going to go in one more placement. Now, this is going to get a little uncomfortable for my wrists. I like to take it and turn it around, pressing back. So I have the flexibility there in the hips. So with that, shake it out a little bit. Yes, cleansing breath. Let the legs relax. Mobilization of the toes, ankles, circles. Butterfly forward bend. Inhaling into the posture, soften, relax, take 3 big breaths, and on your final exhale, bring it back up. Using the core and the hips to bring you around to whatever's comfortable. Exhale, soften, and then again, 3 nice breaths. I'm not going to let my head rest so I can speak, but you can let your head rest if you can. You could even stack your fists to allow your neck and spine a rest, a little break there if you're almost there. So 3 good breaths, exhaling your way back up. Nice cleansing breath. More butterfly series. This one's a little bit more active. We're going to be laying out flat on the floor, inhaling up to stretch forward, exhaling, pressing ourselves back, and repeating that a few times, as many as you feel is necessary. To do a few is to say that you're in nice health, and of course improving and stronger as you increase. So I'm only going to do a few for demonstration purposes. I'm a wimp with core work. So here we go. Lay out and stretch out if you have the room. Your butterfly pose, let it come in as far as possible there. And then if you have the room to stretch out nice and long, maybe relax for a moment. All right, and with that, if you need to make the pose any easier, the feet could come off the ground to help lift yourself up and over. So here we go. Inhale. You can use the arms to lift yourself up. So inhaling all the way through. And then exhaling up and rounding down. Inhaling up. Straightening out as you come around. You can take that as far as you can go, of course. And exhaling back. It's nice, the arms work like a lever to kind of help with the inhale. So you are breathing with this one, inhaling to help lift up and follow through. That exhale is nice, rounding the spine backwards. Make sure you finish out, relax for a moment with a cleansing breath. Butterfly with a forearm stretch. So as the feet come together and in, the forearms, depending on your level of stretch, could very well be in front of, much further away, closer tucked up underneath your legs there, your shins. You could also get them deep underneath the hips, thighs as well. So you determine where you would like to do that. You can do all 3. I'm going to stick with the one underneath the thighs. So in all of them, we're going to press into the hands, straightening the arms, rolling the chest open, shoulder blades back, chin up, inhaling the whole way. Exhaling, softening, shake it out a little bit. Inhaling into your pose again, maybe choosing another placement for your hands. Shaking out the hands. You could also try with your hands facing down, see how that feels, and go through some cycles of that. Yeah. Kneeling shoulder rolls. So the breath here is going to be to exhale as we roll the chest open and the shoulders back, and rolling the shoulders forward as we inhaling, actually filling up the lungs. So it's a little bit opposite than what we might normally do to inhale, open the chest, exhale, and kind of compress. So holding on to the knees, straightening out the spine, and checking in, settling in. Nice cleansing breath. And then with that inhale, start rolling those shoulders forward. And then as you get the movement, maybe you create more curvature in your spine. And then with that exhale, rolling them back, opening up the chest, looking up towards the sky. Again, continue for as long as you feel is necessary. Kneeling lion. For relief of general weakness, wrists, elbows, shoulders will be obvious. We're sitting on the knees. Anything that we're kneeling in, we can really do seated, and sometimes find ways to do it standing. So you can take your options. If this ever becomes too much, you can put a bolster in to support yourself. The lion doesn't necessarily have the lion's breath that we might know from yoga. The hands here, there's two ways of breathing as we stretch our hands. So the fingertips come facing backwards. We can start on the floor, inhaling, rounding the spine, looking up, stretching in to the front of the chest, opening up, pressing the shoulder blades back, exhaling, softening. And then you just continue with that a few times, a few repetitions. Now, of course, if you have more flexibility, you can move the hands forward, in front of you a little bit more, wherever that next point of tension is for you, and go through that same breath. Shaking it out a little as we test placing our hands on our thighs. So depending on your level there, you might just be in your fingertips, out a little closer to your knees and your thighs, lower third. But as you get a little bit more flexible, not only in the wrists, elbows, upper chest and shoulders, spine can straighten out. You'll really be able to press into that stretch. So I did say that there were two ways of breathing in this posture. So the other one is to go through the same stretches wherever they're comfortable and actually exhale, rounding the back. And then just soften. And then moving through. This time I'm just taking a breath for every movement of my hands to another maybe line of tension or fibers. Bringing it around. Would there be anything wrong with connecting the two movements with an inhale and an exhale at the same time? Not a problem. Do your cat-cow association. Going through all of those stretches. Equally though, back side, the forearms needed as well. So to test that, front side here, I'm going to inhale, pressing the hands into the floor, shaking everything out, exhaling. This time I'm around my spine. Inhaling my way through a cleansing breath into the next posture. It's a little different on the back sides of the hands. You'll find that they're more sensitive for sure. So. Bringing it up, shaking it out more readily on this side, up onto the thighs. Inhaling. Some wrist circles for the forearms there. So go through that as many times as you feel as necessary. Setting up for some leg extensions and getting nice and square on the sit bones. Bending into my right leg and exhaling, coming into that. Grabbing hold with my right hand. This is my right leg. My left hand is going to go on my left thigh, so on the straight leg. We're going to be pushing down on that straight leg, straightening our spine as we inhale and straighten this leg as much as possible. Exhale, soften, and you repeat that 3 to 9 times, or as many as you feel is necessary. So both legs are very active. Both arms, the spine, very active. I'm just going to do 3. And then this turns into going out to the side to open up. So I have to find this one on my sit bones. Better to grab the inside of the sole. It instep of the foot, but I feel like it kind of depends on the mobility inside your hip and your knee. So you take that, what is comfortable. I a lot of times like to wrap my foot when I'm doing things, holding my feet. So it gets more of the tissue in the fascia. So I might continue with that now. So with that, pressing into the straight leg down, inhaling, opening that leg to the side as far as possible. Exhaling, bringing it back, maybe adjusting. Inhale with adjustment. Exhale, softening in. Oh, double hands. So I'll do the same side there before I go on. Do the 3 on the other side. So let me get my sit bones again. And exhaling, grabbing hold of that foot. And then this one, inhaling, straightening the spine, straightening the leg. Exhale, soften 3 times or better. Break, forward fold, shake out the legs to the other side. This time my right leg is going to be straight. Left leg's coming up. Pushing down on the, or I'm sorry, left leg was coming up, pushing down on my right leg, yep. And then with an inhale, straightening and pressing. 1, 2, and take this. Okay. To the side. So 3 times this side. And so straight leg, sit bones, still stretching the left side, both hands, curling my spine to stretch it out a little bit. But then, as we inhale, everything's going to straighten back out. Engaging the pelvic floor, mid-back, tucking in the chin. Hopefully that was done 3 times with the other ones, or again, as many as you see fit. Spacey. Leg extension variations. So seated, cross-legged. I'm gonna reach for my right foot and bring it up, stretching, exhaling. What we're going to be doing is taking this bent leg to straight right in front of us, inhaling, straightening out our spine, looking up a little bit, exhaling, bringing it back. Holding the knee on the ground, supporting. Exhaling, bringing that back, and then out to the side. Grabbing the foot with wherever's comfortable. For your shoulder, it's a secondary arm stretch. So make sure you're comfortable up there. And inhaling out to the side, and then softening with your exhale. This time I'm using the other knee as kind of a lever. Counterbalance. Bringing that back. So you can also try that with this knee bent in front of you and then off to the side. So for now, the right leg gets tough. I'm going to be going for the left. So exhaling, getting into position for inhaling in front. To the side. You'll notice that you'll have to come to a different posture within the hips and within that right leg. That's why it becomes a counterbalance. So again, you can try that by bending this right leg to the opposite. It's going to throw the hips into a much different position and be a lot harder to balance. So everything's worth a shot though. Greeting the sun and the moon. So this is going to be a twist to the side with an inhale. And then when you're there, you hold, inhale a second time, trying to increase your twist. And then you exhale, coming back to center. Inhaling off to the other side, holding and inhaling again, exhaling back through. So maybe find your first point of resistance, and then again, press a little bit more. Looking back as far as you can. Hopefully you find them getting easier and easier along the way. I tend to keep my thumb knuckles close to my sternum to help press the pecs around in the twist. Trying to keep the shoulders back, pressing and twisting to help usher the front body around to come up out of the core. You might like to try it switching your legs. It's always a good practice to go through. Your hips shift, low back shifts, the twist through the obliques becomes different. Wrapping and twisting. So this is a little bit like saluting the sun and moon twist, sun and moon twist. Wrapping and twisting. So a lot like the sun and moon twist, we're going to inhale to the side twice, both sides, exhaling back to the center. So wrapping the arms, we're going to inhale to the side one time, and then inhaling a second time, reaching up a little bit further, exhaling, bringing it back to center. And then again, you go to the other side, inhaling, and then to further it, you reach a little bit further, and then bring it back. So, inhaling in. So cleansing breaths in the middle. You can rewrap your arms the other way, and you can also rewrap your legs the other way and try to do that same breath with the twists. Again, it shifts the hips, rotates some, and then the obliques, you'll feel some different restrictions when you make those adjustments. So it's good to try them both. Forearm stretches. So we're going to take the fingertips up and back, reaching for the whole of the palm to the wrist, straight arms. We inhale, pull back at the flat of that palm, pressing back into the shoulders. So, and then you exhale to release. So inhale. Tension, Straightening the spine. Exhale, soften. Shake it out a little bit and repeat it a few times. If you're allowing your shoulders to press back, you should feel some stretch somewhere behind the shoulders, shoulder blades, near the spine. Movement. There should be movement here. So, repeat that on the other side. Fingertips up. Come around the top. You can experiment with taking that a little bit to the side as well and pressing back. Just finding slight different fibers of stretch there. Shaking it up. Now, that same stretch can be repeated with hands down, pressing back as well. Same breath, inhaling, then exhale. But that being said, you can also turn that hand up, stretch that way, as well as these fingertips were up, so we can also take them down and stretch back. So there's 4 different ways to stretch the hand there within that one forearm stretch. So take your time with it, do a few with each one. Just balancing out my other side. Balancing out my other side. Forearm stretches, another series. Very simple. Palms together and pressing down. Inhaling, straightening out the spine. You can keep the fingertips close. Exhale, soften. Repeat that a few times. And try to rotate the fingertips in, because then you'll get more stretch through the pronator. So that way, and then palms still together, placing them facing downwards, a little bit more awkward. With that, inhaling and pressing up as much as possible. Trying to stay close, trying to rotate those fingers in, softening, trying again. Straightening the spine, looking up. That one can be done with the top sides of the hands together. And with the fingertips up. Take care with the top sides of the hands. It pulls a lot through the top sides of the wrist and lower forearm. Make sure to shake that out before you get moving again. So take whatever comfortable seated position you can find. And we're going to do some simple arm stretches. Just straight across the body. Straight arm. And coming up into our elbow, locking into the upper arm. Coming across, and when we do that, we're going to inhale into the shoulders, straightening the spine and lifting up. And exhale, soften. And when we do that, we kind of give ourselves, when we inhale, a little pressure back into the shoulder. You can let the hand be relaxed. It's more about that upper arm shoulder stretch. So make sure to get the other side. And you'll notice if you take it low, middle, or up a little bit higher, you're going to get varying levels of the deltoid fibers. So maybe with every breath, you can go ahead and try a different area. On this side, I place my hand a little bit more on the triceps, which if you do, you can give yourself a little bit more pressure into the triceps, actually palming it and kind of softening up the triceps a little bit more as you do that, which is kind of necessary. So, one stretch. Two stretch is behind the back. So taking them behind the back and trying to lock onto one or the other elbows. And with your inhale, you straighten the spine, dragging that arm across as far as you can. You really want to keep the chest open as you do that. You'll notice it's not a big movement, but it is necessary. So stretch number 2. All right, other side. So catching hold of that other arm, elbow. If you get a nice hold around the arm, it can actually feel like more of a massage, pulling your arm across in that stretch. That feels good. And that being said, depending on how you have your arm rotated, you could be holding more on to the edge of the bicep, or you could be wrapped around to the tricep. So watch the rotation of your arm when you do that. It matters and you can feel it. So you can progressively turn the arm a little bit more when you're in there. So last stretch, triceps up overhead, bringing it around, simple to the elbow, bringing the shoulders down away from the ears, settling in. Hopefully you notice a little stretch right behind the shoulder. And then with that, inhaling, straightening the spine, connecting through. Exhale, soften. And shake out the shoulders a little bit. So a little pressure when you go in there, inhaling in. Doesn't need to be a big movement, just concentrated. Other arm. So again, bend, kind of settle into that elbow, bring the shoulders down, and then inhale. Exhale, soften. So again, holding that elbow, giving it pressure into the body, straightening the spine. With a nice cleansing breath. Shaking the shoulders a little bit. Half butterfly, hip circles. Legs straight. We're going to be bringing the other one up, holding on to the ankle, knee. We're going to assist it with circling in one direction. Depending on the flexibility, we can gather underneath the ankle and try to get that knee to move around in as big of a circle as possible, several times in one direction, and then of course trying to get it to go the other way, pressing and pulling as you make your rotations. So can equally be an upper body workout if it's a big assist. So I'm really pressing and I'm really pulling. So that's actually working my shoulder quite a bit as well. So to the other side, warm it up. Breathing, just whatever can be consistent and help you get through it. If you do want to slow it down and time it with a particular breath, you most certainly can. Nice. Nice warm hips. Siddhigans pose with prayer hands. So this is a preparation to really get your foot behind your head. So, you know, we gotta warm up the hip a little bit, come into this one, and then throw it back there. So with that, hopefully you warmed up your hip already. Coming under with both of our elbows. I don't know if I'm gonna be throwing up behind my head today. So, palms together, maintaining the integrity of the spine. So we're trying to straighten out our spine first, and finding our way into a place where hopefully we can spend 3 good breaths here. So just inhaling in, maybe straightening out the spine more and more. Exhale with a little soften. Inhaling. And out. So to the other side. Almost never really matters which side you do first, as long as you do them both. So make sure you get on your sit bones though. It's good to have a stable base. And then bringing that other leg up and across. Maybe you feel things in places you weren't aware of that connected to that. Movement through my upper back. So, all right. So finding that posture and inhaling. Left side needs a little bit more work. I naturally was holding my breath a little bit more on that side, just kind of doing the work. So take measure of what both sides feel like, and you know, if it feels a little bit more stiff, move it around a little bit more, and then settle into that squeeze, bringing that into the chest, trying to straighten out the spine. Setting up for some leg extensions. And getting nice and square in the sit bones. Maybe bending into my right leg. And exhaling, coming into that. Grabbing hold with my right hand. This is my right leg. My left hand is going to go on my left thigh. So on the straight leg. We're going to be pushing down on that straight leg, straightening our spine. As we inhale and straighten this leg as much as possible. Exhale, soften. And you repeat that 3 to 9 times, or as many as you feel is necessary. So, both legs are very active. Both arms, the spine, very active. I'm just going to do 3. And then this turns into going out to the side to open up. So I have to find this one on my sit bones. Better to grab the inside of the sole. It instep of the foot, but I feel like it kind of depends on the mobility inside your hip and your knee. So you take that, what is comfortable. I a lot of times like to wrap my foot when I'm doing things, holding my feet. It gets more of the tissue and the fascia. So I might continue with that now. So with that, pressing into the straight leg down, inhaling, opening that leg to the side as far as possible. Exhaling, bringing it back, maybe adjusting. Inhale with adjustment. Exhale, soften again. Oh, double hands. So I'll do the same side there before I go and do the 3 on the other side. So let me get my sit bones again. And exhaling, grabbing hold of that foot. And then this one, inhaling, straightening the spine, straightening the leg. Exhale, soften 3 times or better. Break, forward fold, shake out the legs to the other side. This time my right leg's going to be straight. Left leg's coming up. Pushing down on the, or I'm sorry, left leg was coming up. Pushing down on my right leg, yeah. And then with an inhale, straightening and pressing. Two and take this. All right. To the side. So 3 times this side. And so straight leg, sit bones. Still stretching the left side, both hands, curling my spine to stretch it out a little bit. But then, as we inhale, everything's going to straighten back out. Engaging the pelvic floor, mid-back, tucking in the chin. Hopefully that was done 3 times with the other ones, or again, as many as you see fit. leg extension variations. So seated, cross-legged. I'm gonna reach for my right foot and bring it up, stretching, exhaling. What we're going to be doing is taking this bent leg to straight right in front of us, inhaling, straightening out our spine, lifting up a little bit, exhaling, bringing it back. Holding the knee on the ground, supporting. Exhaling, bringing that back, and then out to the side. Grabbing the foot with wherever's comfortable. For your shoulder, it's a secondary arm stretch. So make sure you're comfortable up there. And inhaling out to the side, and then softening with your exhale. This time I'm using the other knee as kind of a lever. Counterbalance. Bringing that back. So you can also try that with this knee bent in front of you and then off to the side. So for now, the right leg gets tough. I'm going to be going for the left. So exhaling, getting into position for inhaling in front. To the side. You'll notice that you'll have to come to a different posture within the hips and within that right leg. That's why it becomes a counterbalance. So again, you can try that by bending this right leg to the opposite. It's going to throw the hips into a much different position and be a lot harder to balance. So everything's worth a shot though.